The biggest mistake sellers make in Northwest Georgia isn't picking the wrong agent or listing their home at the wrong time of the year. It's believing that their home is worth more than what the market will actually pay. And here's why that could cost you thousands. A seller lists their home $20,000, $30,000, maybe $50,000 over what the market actually would bring. Sometimes even more than that. Then they wait. The showings slow down, weeks turn into months, and eventually they drop the price. But sometimes they have to drop the price below where it should have sold for in the first place. By that time, they've lost the most important, valuable thing that they had, momentum. So today, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to price your home right the first time, why overpricing backfires in ways that most people don't expect, and what the data actually shows about homes that sell quickly versus homes that sit. Now, one quick note before we dive into the data. If you're thinking about selling your home in the next few months and you want a real pricing conversation, not just a number that's pulled out of thin air to get your listing, text me at the number right up here. I'll walk you through a market analysis specific to your home, your neighborhood, and what's actually selling right now. No pressure, just real numbers. All right, now let's get into this. First, let's talk about why this happens. It's not that sellers are being unreasonable or greedy. There's some real reasons why people overprice their homes. And if we're honest about those reasons, we can work around them. Number one, emotional attachment. Look, I understand you've lived in your home. You've made memories there. You've invested both financially and emotionally into your home. And it's hard to separate what the home is worth to you from what it's worth to a buyer who doesn't have that history. Hey, I get it. But here's the thing, buyers don't pay for your memories. They pay for square footage, location, condition, and what comparable homes are selling for. Reason number two, what you need to know is that a lot of these sellers, they work backwards from a certain number. They may think to themselves, well, I need to walk away with X so that I can buy my next home, so I'm going to list my property for Y. The problem is the market doesn't care what you need to net. The market cares about what buyers are willing to pay for your home. Reason number three, sellers sometimes think, well, we can always come down in the price. Now, this is one of the ones that I hear most often. Let's start high. If it doesn't sell, we'll just drop the price. No problem. On the surface, that seems very logical, but here's what actually happens. You trigger a chain reaction that can cost you in three specific ways. Cost number one, you miss the buyer surge. See, when a home first goes on the market, it gets maximum visibility. Agents, they're watching for new listings. Buyers, they've been searching for weeks. They're excited to see something fresh on the market. In Northwest Georgia, well-priced homes get the most activity in the first 10 to 14 days. That is your window of opportunity. If your home is priced right, you'll get multiple showings, maybe multiple offers, and you create competition. Competition drives price. However, if you're overpriced, serious buyers, they just skip right past your listing, and you won't get that initial surge back. Once it's gone, it's gone. Now, cost number two, you train buyers to wait. So here's what happens after your home sits 2 or 3 weeks, then 4 weeks, then 6 weeks. Buyers start to wonder, what's wrong with that home? Why isn't it sold yet? Is there something wrong with it? Even if there's nothing wrong with the house, the perception that there's a problem becomes a problem. And the longer your home sits, the more leverage the buyers have. They know that you're becoming more and more motivated the longer it sits there. They know it's been on the market, and then they use that information in negotiations. So instead of getting strong offers in week 1, you're getting lowball offers in week 8. Cost number 3, you end up selling for less than you would have. Now, this is the part that most sellers don't expect. Overpriced homes don't just take longer to sell, they often sell for less money than they would have if they had been priced correctly from the get-go. And here's why. When you finally drop the price after sitting on the market for, 3 months or more, buyers assume you must be desperate. They assume that the house has some sort of hidden issue, and then they make their offers according to their assumptions. But if you had started at the right price, you would have had motivated buyers competing in week 1. Competition drives price up, not down. Now, I've seen homes that with comps around, say, $895, they start at $950 because that's what the buyer or the seller is asking for. They sit there for several weeks, then the seller drops them down to $895 where they should have started, and then eventually they end up dropping down to $875. Now, if that home had started at the right price at, say, $895 in this example, or even slightly under that, it would have sold for $910, $915, maybe more in the first couple of weeks because of competitive pricing. Overpricing doesn't protect your value, it erodes it. So how do you price your home correctly the first time? It starts with data, not with emotion. First off, look at comparable homes, not what homes are listed for, but what they actually sold for. In Northwest Georgia, neighborhoods can vary significantly. Even within a few miles, a home in one subdivision might sell for $50,000 more than a similar home 2 miles away just because of a different school zone, maybe neighborhood amenities, or reputation of the builder. Then, step number 2, adjust for your current market. See, the market changes week to week. What sold 3 months ago might not reflect what is happening right now. Are we in a buyer's market or a seller's market? How much other inventory are you competing with in your price range? How long are homes currently sitting on the market? What's the average median days on the market? In every market, certain price ranges are more competitive than others. In some markets, entry-level homes move fast. Well-maintained homes and homes that are in move-in ready condition generally move faster. Generally speaking, higher-end homes take a little bit longer. Or poorly maintained homes also take a little bit longer because people have a hard time envisioning what the home would look like with a fresh coat of paint. The strategy that you choose has to match the reality of the market. Step number 3, factor in your home's specific strengths and weaknesses. Now, if your home has been updated recently, maybe a new HVAC, a new roof, renovated recently, that's going to add value. However, if the home needs work, maybe you've got outdated finishes from 30 years ago, maybe you've got deferred maintenance, maybe there's some layout issues with rooms that were added after the fact and not really thought through. All of this needs to be reflected in the price that you're asking. See, buyers aren't stupid. They can tell what needs to be done, and they're going to factor that into the offer that they make, whether you factor it in or not. Step number 4, price just below the market, not at the top of the market. Here's a strategy that works consistently. Instead of trying to price at the very top of the market, what you think that the market will bring, price just below market value. This does 2 things. Number 1, it attracts more buyers because it's going to show up in more searches. Number 2, it's going to create urgency when buyers see a home that's priced well. They're going to move quickly because they know that other buyers are going to see that and know it's a good deal also. And when you have multiple interested buyers show up, you often end up with offers at or above your asking price anyway because of competitive bidding. But that only happens when the price attracts serious buyers. Now, here's where your agent's going to come in. A good agent is going to give you honest feedback, even if it's not what you want to hear. Now, if you tell me that you want to list your home at $1 million, but the data shows that it should be priced at, say, $925, I'm going to tell you that. Not because I don't want to make you happy, but because my job is to sell your home for the most amount of money in the least amount of time with the least amount of stress. That's part of my fiduciary duty to you as your agent. And overpricing doesn't accomplish those goals. Now, some agents are willing to take a home and list it at whatever price the seller wants so that they can get the listing and hang another sign in somebody's yard. 3 months later, after it's been sitting on the market, you've dropped the price twice, you're frustrated, they're trying to manage your expectations. I'd much rather have that hard conversation up front at the beginning. I'm going to show you the data, I'm going to explain the market, and I'm going to walk you through exactly what comparable homes have been selling for and what buyers are currently paying right now at the time we listed. If you still want to price your home higher, hey, that's your call. After all, it's your home. Part of my duty as a realtor is to obey your orders. But my recommendation will always be based on what gives you the best chance of success, not on what sounds good in that moment. So if you're thinking about selling your home in Cartersville, Canton, Milton, Alpharetta, or anywhere else in Northwest Georgia, and you want an honest pricing conversation, here's what I suggest. Text me at the number on the screen. Tell me a little bit about your home, where it's located, how many bedrooms, bathrooms, and when you're thinking about selling. I'll put together a market analysis that shows you what comparable homes have actually sold for, what's currently on the market that you'll be competing with, and what I'd recommend is a list price based on real data. No pressure, no obligation, just real numbers and honest feedback. Every week, people just like you reach out to me with questions about selling their homes in all different price ranges. Some are ready to list next month, some are planning for next year. Either way, I'd be honored to help you think through your strategy. Pricing your home right the first time to make the most of the market is one of the most important decisions you're going to make in the selling process. It affects everything that comes after that. How many showings you get, how many strong offers you get, and how long you're going to be on the market, and eventually how much money you actually sell for and net. So don't guess, don't hope, don't rely on what your neighbor or some online portal says. Get real data, get honest feedback, and let's make a decision based on what's actually going to work in this market. Text me today. I'll reply as soon as I'm free. Now, one last thought. I've worked with a lot of sellers in this area. The ones who have the smoothest, most successful selling experience are the ones who start with the right price. They get the showings immediately. They get strong offers quickly, and then they move on to the next chapter of life without months of waiting and stress and uncertainty. That could be you, but it starts with pricing strategy, not wishful thinking. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you on the next video.